Okay, I'm
Okay,
starting.
ma'am, you can proceed.
Okay, sir. Vanakkam and good morning to all dignitaries and dear participants. I'd like to start with thought of the day. Albert Schweitzer says, success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you are doing, you will be successful. Yes, successfully, we are in the fifth day of our webinar series. On behalf of the School of Information Science, I, Professor S. Balambihai, gives a warm welcome to all who joined us on this 5 days international webinar series on trends in STEMEM 2.0, jointly organized by the Department of BCA and CS in association with IQAC of Annai College of Arts and Science, Kovilacheri, Kumbakonam. Now, I request our respected IQAC coordinator, Professor R. Lata ma'am, to deliver welcome address.
Thank you, Mrs. Balambihi, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Morning, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am.
Welcome.
Okay. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning to all. First of all, I would like to thank everyone for joining this webinar. Respected Chairman, Secretary, CEO, Director, and our beloved Principal, Dr. S.P. Manikavasagi, Vice Principal, Professor S. Ilancheriyan, and Professor K. Raja, faculties of our institutions, faculties, and research scholars from various institutions from various states. I feel very happy to welcome you all on this webinar in the title of Utilization of Technological Tools in Education. On behalf of Annai College of Arts and Science, it's my privilege to welcome our today resource person, Mrs. Vani Arun Prakash, who is educator in Humanities and English Language, Ministry of Education, Queensway Secondary School, Singapore. Ma'am, we are really thankful for giving your time with your busy schedule. Welcome you, ma'am. I believe that by participating in this webinar, we are in the right place at the right time. I'm sure that you all will feel enriched with knowledge after completion of this webinar. I welcome you all once again to this webinar. Have a nice day. Thank you all. Thank you, ma'am. Mrs.
Thank,
Trimulan, sir, the session is over to you, sir.
thank you, ma'am.
Principal,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am. Thank you,
Principal,
ma'am.
ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, I request our Honorable and beloved Principal, Dr. S.P. Manikavasagi, ma'am, to deliver presidential address. Ma'am?
Balabi, ma'am. I think ma'am has some network problem.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, first we have chief guest introduction, then we have presidential address. Now, I request Dr. S. Bhuneshwari to introduce our chief guest to our esteemed audience. Dr. S. Bhuneshwari. Kindly mute yourself, unmute yourself, Dr. S. Bhuneshwari.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yeah, audible, ma'am.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes,
Good morning, one and all. Thank you, Professor. I feel immense pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Miss Vani Arun Prakash, ma'am, who is an educator in humanities and English language in Ministry of Education in Queen's Mary School at Singapore. First of all, she has made her tribute in the Straits Times national newspaper for her outstanding performance, just taken it to our 12th standard even. Okay, after completion of this secondary school education, she has been graduated from National University of Singapore, which top ranking of 30 in the world level. So now today, she is a very good expert. We are very proud to invite our chief guest to do her knowledge to share her knowledge and to benefit for others. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir, our principal available?
No, ma'am. She has disconnected right now. I think
Balani, ma'am. We
Yes,
have to
ma'am.
continue the session, ma'am. At the end of
you
the
can
session,
continue at
ma'am
the
will
end of
give
the
the
session. Ma'am
presentation.
will join. Ma'am, you can
Yes, sir.
proceed the next session.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Ma'am will join at the end of the session today.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Dear participants, for your kind attention, feedback link will be shared at the end of the session. Kindly submit your feedback before 10 p.m. today. For your convenience, we will share feedback link through mail as well as in STEMEM 2.0 WhatsApp group. Now, I extend a warm welcome to our almighty resource person and a star of today's session, Madam Vani Arun Prakash, an educator, to grace this session. Welcome, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Hi everyone, it's really nice to see all of you. Thank you so much for that wonderful welcome. I appreciate and I really enjoyed hearing the enthusiasm, okay, in your seminar. So I didn't know that it was actually so long the webinar has been going on. So hats off to the whole college for this wonderful series of webinar series. Okay, so I think they have introduced quite a bit about me. Okay, I've been an educator for quite a while, 12 years in service. So I hope that today, the session that I'm sharing with you, you will actually have an opportunity to learn some tools that you can actually use in your classroom. Now, at any point, if I'm too fast or if it's laggy, or if you have questions, please feel free to either drop it in the chat box or you can unmute yourself and ask me. So now I will proceed on to share my slides, and there will be a bit of hands-on section, and I hope that you can participate in it so that you can learn it, because tools are very difficult to just talk about it. You have to do it hands-on to get some experience. All right. Okay, so basically in Singapore, this idea of technological tools actually started to come into play, honestly speaking, during COVID-19. Okay, now we went into this process called home-based learning. Now I understand that in India also, I've been watching the TV. I realized that you guys had quite a significant impact of the second wave of COVID-19, and all of you have been doing wonderfully well. Okay, my brother-in-law's son who's in India was sharing with me that lessons have still been ongoing. So there was the same concept for us, okay? Because for us, we strongly believe that teaching has to be a two-way communication. So a lots of questions, a lots of marking, and at the same time, a lot of discussion has to take place. So the challenge that we face that was brought forward was that, hey, how are you going to bring a typical classroom in a school to an online platform? So that's where this idea of technological tools came into play. Now, when I say we are an effective teacher, there's a lot of things that we look at. It's just not about how well we speak, how much knowledge we have on that subject. It also is about, our students interested in our teaching? Can we engage them at all times? Because sometimes school hours are so long, and when your kid is sitting in front of you, or your college students are sitting in front of you, you realize that they may not be typically engaged as they should be. We are seeing a new generation of students, especially even in India, who are very, very advanced in technological knowledge. I've been following up with a lot of the Instagram posts, quite a bit in the Facebook, and a lot of them are very outstanding and outspoken. So what kind of tools did we use and how did we actually implement it? Let me just show you a very quick video. So I will stop share and show you a video. Then we will move on to what we call our hands-on session. Any questions so far? Yeah, I think there's no questions. So I will just show the video first. You may want to increase your volume so that you can hear on your side.
Well, students can look forward to over 8,000 lesson ideas, videos, and more on the Education Ministry's portal by the time school reopens. MOE says it's aiming to expand resources on the student learning space by almost 50% during the circuit breaker period. Melissa Goh looks at how teachers are using these resources or creating their own to keep students engaged.
When classes shifted from school to home, primary school teacher Janice Wan saw it as the perfect chance for students to play scientists in their daily lives.
That's a fantasy to actually play as an adult, to actually take a roller coaster ride. So I say, why don't you make your own roller coaster? Imagine yourself to be an engineer. So how will it look like for you?
Not limited by lesson time, children dive into the concept of energy at their own pace, trying to drive a marble through these loops. Mrs. Wan makes sure they're on track with weekly discussions on Zoom.
We do see that they are engaged by looking at their online responses when they provide feedback to their friends on how to improve on their friends' model or the type of questions that they have for their friends.
Over a virtual space, holding the attention of over 30 teenagers is no easy feat. Another teacher shows me how she sends students on field trips during the circuit breaker period.
Students are to launch Google Earth and go to the Maldives.
Looking at the island as a case study, they explore coastal protection.
We spark the curiosity of the students. We get them to gather data, exercise reasoning, promote their thinking, and draw conclusions. So with each stage, there is a bite-sized section being designed. So together it's a whole lesson package.
As they've shortened the duration for live lessons online compared to at school, students have to take more responsibility for their own learning. Mrs. Shin and her team put together additional resources, even making YouTube videos for the first time. Students then raise any questions they have.
Even my quietest student, they will respond. Okay? It's because everyone is required to type in their response. As opposed to being in class, they have to have the courage to raise their hand, to verbalize.
Despite challenges like having to navigate the blur between work and home, both educators say the experience has opened up their perspectives on how they can use technology to enhance teaching and encourage independent learning.
Okay, so now I'll go back to my slides. Just give me a second. Yeah. Okay, so you watch the video and you realize that actually teaching can take place in many various forms. I know that Zoom and WhatsApp, Google Meet are the common platforms. But apart from just using these platforms, is there another way we can actually connect and communicate with the students? So if you see my slides, I wrote here technological tools. Now the tools that I'm posting here are actually free. Okay, that means you can, as long as you have an internet, you have an internet connection, or you have a mobile phone, both you and your students can actually use it. So yeah, so that is the plus point of it. So the first form that I'll be going through with you is Google Form, followed by Padlet. So these two I'll be teaching you today. The other one that you can explore on your own, or if you have interest, you can always ask me. My email address is at the end of the slide, is Padlet, followed by Kahoot, Nearpod, and Quizlet. So in our education system, when we actually go online, we use all these tools to engage the students. Now, in terms of internet connection, as long as it is working, you shouldn't have much of a problem using this. Yeah. Okay, so I've already shared with you what is the plus points of using this platform. Now, when I was designing this webinar, the first thing that came into my mind was this. I wanted to share with you a tool. So for instance, let's say we have a child who's living in a village very far off with only the internet connection and probably the mobile phone. Can he or she use this tool? That was my idea when I was sharing this with you. I can assure you that these tools are quite easy to use, and I think your students or even your own children will actually enjoy it. And I hope that as time progresses, even in your college, you may consider using this as part of your curriculum. So apart from just connecting, it allows you to submit homework and at the same time give feedback. So instead of just marking on a paper in a red pen, you can actually use an online platform and you can actually mark there. So it's a real-time feedback. 5 minutes ago, I submit my homework, by the time it's like 9 p.m., your students would have already gotten it marked and written it back to them. And it can be even faster than just typing or, what you call marking your red pen. Okay, so now I'm going to go on to the hands-on demonstration. Okay, so at this point, if you have a Google, that means if you're on a laptop, you can open up Google, your Gmail, and follow the steps that I use. So at least it's a hands-on experience for you. Okay, all right. Any questions so far? Anyone? All are doing okay? Right. Okay. Okay. Now, this is one of the easiest tools that I found that worked for me during the home-based learning. That means when I was teaching from home, because I teach mostly students who range from 13 all the way to 17. So, and there's a lot of writing to actually do. So if you see this screen share, it's actually my Gmail. If you go to the top right-hand corner, you'll see these dots over here, which looks like a square, and it points out the word called Google App. So you click on it, okay, and then you just scroll down. Okay, let me just pause for a moment in case there are people who are following me, okay, and then you click on Forms. Okay, so this is like a online worksheet, or you can even say an online form. So in Singapore, most of the time when we are doing questionnaire, quiz, even survey between your lecturers in your college, we use this. Okay, there's no more like just typing in Excel or things like that, because it takes too much time. So you click on Start a Form. Okay, so it comes out something like that. Okay, so for example, let's say you are teaching mathematics in your college. You can actually key in as, you can key in as math. Okay, and then you can write your college name here. You can say Anna College. Anna College, all right? Then let's say you want to teach your students maybe something related to algebra, for example. You can actually show them a video. So if you click on the YouTube here, it comes out to this. You can actually search here, for example. Okay, for example, you search. And then you see there's so many videos coming up. I have seen teachers who self-record their own lectures and they post it on this kind of platform. It's also possible. So for example, I could choose algebra basics. What is algebra? And then you select. And then you realize that, the video is actually here. So your students in your free time can actually click on it and actually watch the video to understand the concepts better. So you can write an instruction for your kids or your students. You say, watch the video. Okay, you can say, watch the video. And then after that, you can go back here. You may give them a question. Now, if you see this portion, it decides what type of questions there are. There's actually a file upload. So your students can type in Microsoft Word. If they have a handphone, it could be a note. They can submit their homework. Or it could be like a paragraph. Okay, so you can write a question. Okay, what? For example, let's say you write a question like that, and then your students can actually write their answers over here. Then you can proceed on, you can add another section, and you can actually give another question. So there's a lot of possibilities that you can actually do with this. Yeah. So you can even change, you can duplicate, you can move sections and things like that. Now, the beauty of this is you can actually collate the answers after you have done. So for instance, there's questions and response, right? So if you click on response, you'll realize for now, because there's nobody answering, because we haven't sent it to the students. But let's say you have sent your students, right? You can actually go to download responses. So it will come out in an Excel sheet, and you can immediately give feedback to your students on their possible answers or mistakes. Or you can even use it to share with them in, let's say, the next Zoom or WhatsApp session that you're going to have with your college students. Now, there's something called send button. So when you want to send this to your students, you have to click on this, which is SEND. So you click on send, there's an email, there's a link, all right? For me, usually I will give link because it is easier. You just copy and paste to WhatsApp and your students can actually use it. So there's something called shorten URL. So you can just right click, copy and send to the WhatsApp group. So I strongly urge that you will consider using this. Now for the lecturers, the principal and the rest of you guys, if you're doing like a survey or you want to do a research project, this is another platform that you can use, which is real time and it can be duplicated and used several times. So that's for Google Form. Okay, now just pause for a while. Is there any questions from anyone? Okay, that's the question. How to add WhatsApp link in the Google Form? Okay, I will show it to you. Give me a second. This is from Aisha Mas, I think. Aisha, thank you for the question. Let me screen share and show it to you. Okay, so if you see here, there's Untitled section, right? You can actually just add on another section. And what you can do is that, okay, you can actually put like WhatsApp link. You can put WhatsApp link. Then under the description, you can paste the link over here. This part, you can just copy and paste over here. So your students can actually see the WhatsApp link. So it's just like how you copy and paste WhatsApp from your WhatsApp to a Microsoft Word or a PowerPoint slide. It's as simple as that, not so difficult. Yeah. Okay, let me see, is there any more questions? I think no more. All right. If you want to ask questions, please feel free to unmute anytime and ask. I'm very glad to assist you. Okay, so now I move on to the second platform because I only have 1 hour with you, all of you. Okay, so the second one will be a Padlet. Okay, I'm going to show you how it works. Sorry, it's a bit lagging on my side. Just give me a moment. Okay, I got it. Yeah. Okay, so the next one I'm going to show you is called Padlet. It's another easy platform that you can actually use. It's called Padlet, P-A-D-L-E-T. Maybe if you're on the Google with me, you can just key in at the same time, Padlet. Okay, and just press enter. So you'll come up to this platform that says Padlet. Now, if you go on to your right-hand side, you will realize that Padlet was actually from California. It's actually a cloud-based. So cloud-based means it's online basically. And it's real-time because you can have 100 over students at the same time using this platform to ask questions, to organize their answers, to share their answers, and for the lecturers to post their lecture online using this platform. The beauty of it, it's actually totally free. Okay, so for those of you who don't have a Padlet, don't worry, you can always sign up. Okay, it's free. As long as you have a Gmail account or Yahoo account, it would not be a problem at all. Okay, for me, I'm already signed in. So I show you how a Padlet will actually look like. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, so this is a Padlet example. Now, the beauty of it is there's so many different types here, okay? So let's just show you an example, something that I did with my students maybe 1 to 2 months ago. Okay, so I'm as a humanities teachers, I actually explore a lot about social issues in Singapore. So we talked about disadvantaged groups. That means people who are actually from low income. So what kind of challenges they face and what can we do as responsible citizens. So as you can see, I put here as instructions, and I have the ability to put a YouTube video, a link, and even questions for the students. So it makes it quite interesting for them. And then students will go on to answer their thoughts over here. Now, later on, I'll walk you through like step by step. So all the students' names are here, and they just have to click on the plus sign and write their answers. So that's an example. Okay, so let me show you the gallery. Okay, now if you go to the gallery, there's so many examples here that you can actually use. So one of my favorites that I actually like as a history teacher is timelines. Okay, I use timelines because timelines teach you a lot of things, you know. And an example would be like, let me see whether I can find a timeline for you. Over here. A very simple one. Okay. Now this is the timeline, as you can see on the top, that says the life cycle of a butterfly. So here, the teacher can actually post picture, and the students can do a timeline, like when the butterfly life starts, what is the process involved. So for example, if you give projects, I believe that in India, in college, you probably have projects, right? So, or you have assignments. Instead of asking your students to use paper and pen, get them to do this, you know. It'll be fun, it'll be interesting. At the same time, allows them to do certain level of research, which is very crucial, okay, in education. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to do a Padlet. So if you log into a Padlet, I hope some of you have, you may see what you call make a Padlet. Make a Padlet. Just click on it. Very easy. Many different types. Choose one that's useful for you. For me, my favorite is either timeline or canvas because I also teach English quite a bit. So, or I choose shelf. So let's try shelf today. I just click on it. Okay. Okay. So over here is what you call modify. You can actually modify information. So for example, I can write webinar, or you can write conference if you want. Conference. And here you can actually change it to Anna College. Anna College. Okay. If you don't like the color, feel free to change. Okay. For example, you can go for maybe jetpack. All right. You can choose it. And all right, there's font, there's color scheme, which is very easy. So when your students post answers, you can choose whether you want to see the first person who posted it or the last person. So you can choose. You can allow comments. So these comments are very useful because student A's comment can be read by student B, and student C can actually comment, for example, the algebra question. Is this correct? Why is it correct? Why is it wrong? You can go a step further and say, okay, this is teacher A. Teacher A is actually commenting on the answers. So that's one possibility. Now, if you want to be strict, you want to decide who its post is going to be posted, because there are students who can be playful and they may not be very supportive when it comes to this kind of thing. So you may want to have a moderation. So you can say require approval. Okay, and that's it. Done. It's simple. Done. So after that, you can start posting. So what you can do is, see, you can write here. You can say question 1. And then you can write your question. For example, you want to ask the students, how are you? Simple as that. Okay. And then here you can add the name. For example, you have a student, let's say, called Ila. Ila. So Ila can write his answers over here. And then another student can write the answer. For example, Fatima. Fatima can write her answers over here. Yeah, Fatima can write her answers over here. So you can add on questions under this column and your students can actually write answers. And the easiest part of this is you can actually share. So when you click on the share button, okay, you will see that you can change privacy. For me, I wrote here visitors can write. That means your students are the visitors and they can actually write on this platform. So apart from that, you can either give them a QR code because some students do like scanning. But if QR code is not very common in India, then you can use copy link. So you can copy this link, and from this link, you can copy it to a WhatsApp chat group, for example, that you have with your friends, or your email to your students, depending on what you are comfortable with. Yes. Let me just stop share and ask whether there's any questions. Anyone has any questions? You can unmute yourself. Anyone? Okay, if there's no questions, I hope I'm not too fast for all of you here. If there's no questions, then I will show the slide. I need you to participate in this. That means I am going to give you a chance to experience the Padlet on your own. Maybe I can give you like 5 minutes where you can do some questions. I don't see the word YouTube link, please. I'm not so sure which YouTube link you're asking for. But if you're asking for the introductory of the Padlet or the Google form, I can send it to you, not a problem. Okay. All right. Okay. So can I get all of you to type out this URL in your Google? Hi, Bala, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Bala, can you send this? I already sent you this URL, right?
Yes.
Can you ask them to, yeah, send to them and so that they can type in their answers that and have an experience on the Padlet. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Sure now.
Any problem, please let me know. Yeah. Okay, so for the rest of you, if you're already on the Google, if you haven't received Madam Bala's URL link, you can just type this address into your address bar and you go Padlet that I've created for you because I really want you to have some hands-on experience. Yeah. And then later on, I'll be sharing some of your answers and then you see how it feels when you are actually working with a class of like 40 students. Can anybody tell me in your college, in a class, how many students are there? Do I still need to show this slide or can I move on to the Padlet? Okay, so I'll just put the instructions here for you in case you have difficulty. Okay, so the instructions are here in case the internet is laggy or you cannot hear me. So basically you can key in the address or you can click on the link that Bala sends you, Madam Bala, and you can write. You can choose any question that you are comfortable. There may be some of you who are more technologically savvy and you may want to try the Google form. There may be some of you may just want to write your answers, and or you even share your ideas. That'll be wonderful because I can also learn from you guys. Okay, I'm going to post the link over here because some of you guys are asking for the link. Just give me a second. Hi, I sent the link. The link is sent to you in the chat group also. So it's easy for all of you. You can click on it. Anyone having any issues? Anyone has any questions? Is everything okay? Okay, if you are, oh, I see somebody writing about Google Classroom and Nearpod. Yes, maybe you can share further, like how you can actually use it in the second question. Maybe you can even try clicking and trying a video. Okay, so let me just show you, yeah, if you have some challenges. If you click on this plus button, you will see a lot of icons at the bottom, from link to that to camera and everything. To make life easy, right, you can actually click on these three dots here. See? Do you see there's so many options here? Yeah, so from screen recording, okay, my favorite is actually audio recorder, because sometimes I like to record things and I'll send to my students when it comes to vocabulary. Sometimes for the younger kids, you know, you can even draw. Like, I don't know whether you guys have architecture or anything, but you can get them to draw. Okay, let me just close this. Or you can even search on YouTube. So for example, let's say I want to key in here how to use a Padlet, for example. Okay, you just click and you will see a lot of wonderful tutorials. Okay, so you can click on this and then you realize that, hey, it's actually posted. Yeah, so this is like Padlet, for example. Okay, yeah, so that's it. You can even go a step further. Okay, you can still add on. Don't be afraid of writing your names. I'm pretty okay with you guys writing your names. I'm hoping somebody will do a Google form for me, question 4. And that would be wonderful, right? A Google form. You can try creating a Google form. And you can tell me, like, how do you plan to use the Padlet in your classroom? Like, are you going to use it for a math question? Are you going to use it for English or maybe philosophy? You know, it depends. I would like to show you one more thing. Okay, so you can just listen and at the same time, you know, continue answering the questions. Okay. I do see the answers Nearpod. I'm not so sure how many of you guys can use it, because Nearpod is also quite a fantastic what do you call, a platform to engage your students. Okay, I'm going to show you one more thing. I just discovered it today actually when I was preparing a lesson for humanities. You can actually look for location. So for example, I was thinking of Anna College, and I want to see Anna College in India. I only have been to India like 4 times in my life. 2 times when I was young and 2 times when I got married and I gave birth, came back there for prayers. So I don't know much about the different states. I hope to travel India one day though. So it's posting. Yeah, see, you can actually put a map here for your students also, if you are interested. Somebody asked me a question. Is it like a Google Classroom, ma'am? Yes, this is like a Google Classroom, but it is better than a Google Classroom, because in a Google Classroom, it takes time to go in, upload resources and everything. This is like what you call a worksheet, where your 40 students can come together and answer questions. So for example, if you look at the Padlet, right, you see somebody telling me super, somebody telling me Google Classroom, somebody says Google Classroom, somebody says Nearpod, okay, and then there are some who say excellent. So this is how your students will be, right? Many of them will be going online, and all your students, for example, Bala, how many students do you usually have in your classroom there? Let me see whether I can catch you off, Bala. Madam Bala?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, like in a typical classroom in your college, how many students do you teach in one time?
Really, we can have 200 students, ma'am. We have a smart classroom.
Even, okay, so 200 students, right? Thank you. So 200 students can use this Padlet. So actually, Madam Bala, let's say she uses this, right? For 200 of them can answer the questions at the same time. And it's as simple as just posting the question. You get your students to write their name. For example, I think Malar Billy, she actually wrote her name, and she wrote their Google Classroom. So it is a way for you to actually write information and gather it at the same time. Yeah. I still, hopefully, I hope to see more responses. The last 5 minutes, I will stop and you can ask questions. Okay, I'm just refreshing, don't worry. Yeah, to see whether there's other information. Oh, okay, I see somebody posting about yoga too, for health. Thank you for trying. I'm not so sure what's your name. May I know who's the one who posted on yoga good for health? Okay, never mind. But congratulations, you did a good job in terms of the video link. I hope more videos. Maybe you can try posting everybody there. Could you please try posting? Okay, because it will really, really help you in using this. Yeah. Okay, there's someone very sweet. She said, yes, ma'am, I enjoyed the conference. It's a very short one, just a sharing from another educator or lecturer to another lecturers over there. Okay. Let me see whether I can refresh and see more answers from all of you. Did anybody try Google Form with your email? I'm also answering in the chat group, so it's easy. Okay, anyone has any questions? Let me see whether I can refresh and see any more links from your side. Okay, so I think that's about it from your side. I do see some questions. So far, I've not seen anyone post on the Google form yet. Maybe you may want to try it and let me know how is it. Okay, somebody asked, how do you attach a Google form in the Padlet, ma'am? Wow, a fantastic question by, I think, Surendran, I think. Thank you, Surendran, for that question. This one, I have to go back to my email. Just give me a second. Okay, I'm still slide sharing, so you can see how I'm going to do it. Okay, Surendran, this is for you. Okay, same, go to this box that says Google App, click, scroll down, go to Forms. Okay, so just now we created quite a few forms. So for example, we created the math form, right? This is the math form that we tried. Okay, so you want to paste the link, right? So you click on send, and then let me just show it again. You click on send and you go to this link. Okay, you see this? You shorten your URL. Okay, then right click, copy. Okay, you can just close this, and then I go back to my Padlet. Okay, how do I plan to use? You just right click and paste. That's it, done. The link is here, Surendran. I hope this is useful for you. So it's a very straightforward and easy platform to use. In Singapore, sometimes even our essay writing and lessons, we actually do it here. We use very little paper and pen in Singapore. We are moving on to a full technological based kind of a platform. Yeah. Let me see whether there's any more questions. You're most welcome, Surendran. Dr. S. Surendran, right? You're most welcome. I hope it was useful for you. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to stop share and I'm just going to leave it open. Anyone has questions or anything can ask me, and I'm very, very happy to talk to you about it. So I'd like to share with you about employment opportunities in Singapore if you are interested. Okay. Okay. Hi, I hope you can see me. If you want to stop your video and show me your faces, that would be nice too, because I've not seen any of you guys except Madam Bala. So that would be quite nice. So as I mentioned, okay, somebody asked the question, how to take attendance of the students in the Padlet, ma'am. I think, let me see who is this from. It's from Malarvili. Hi, Malarvili. Actually, what you can do is when your students log in, get them to write your name, okay? Or another way is you create an Excel sheet and you attach to the Padlet. But if you want to take attendance, right, to be very honest, Google Form is easier. Google Form is so much easier because you can just drop box, add in all your student name. They just click, 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 and then it comes up to attendance. So instead, for me, right, in my class, right, I don't call out names. I don't say, Fatima, are you here? Or John, are you here? I don't do that because most of the students have what you call a phone. They have a mobile phone. So I will show them the link on the screen. They just click on the link and then they will go to the Google form. And then after that, they will just tick their name automatically. So actually, I save up to like 10 minutes on this because I realized that in the morning when you call out names, it is very troublesome. Okay, and students like to sometimes cheat a bit. You know, they will say, "Oh, I'm here," but it's actually their friend. So to avoid these kind of situations, we use Google Form or a Padlet possible. Now, yeah, so for those of you guys, I hope in some sense, I have kind of encouraged you to use these tools in education. Because to be very honest, when you first start off, it is going to be challenging. It's not going to be easy. Because for me, it took me like 2 weeks to try everything from Nearpod to Padlet to Google Classroom. So Google Classroom is something very common in Singapore that we use. And after I start using it, I become a big fan of it because I realized that it really helps me to engage my students. And there are students in class who don't like to ask questions. I don't know whether you have experienced this. Yeah, they don't like to ask questions. They are always very quiet. So when it's a Padlet, right, suddenly I see so many questions coming. Yeah, it really helps them a lot. Yeah, so I really hope that you will consider using this. Now, those of you who are interested to consider a career in Singapore as a teacher, now our education system is slightly different from India, because we have primary school, secondary school, and at the same time we also have what you call college. Okay, for us, college is different from yours. You can only go to a college if you are good in your studies. Yeah, so a different platform. So if you're interested, I've shared my slide with Bala. So you can always get Bala to send you the slides. My email address is there. I'll be very, very happy to teach you how to apply for a job in Singapore, or teach you how to do the tools. Yeah. And I can also share with you other teachers who use different platforms to engage the students. Yeah. So that's about it from me. Anyone has questions? You can unmute yourself, please. Yeah.
Tirumalan sir. Sir, kindly unmute all the participants to share their queries. Tirumalan sir. Sir. Allow all the participants.
Yeah, I think you need to unmute, then they can ask questions, because most of the questions are coming in the chat group actually.
Participants, kindly unmute yourself and you can ask your queries.
Anyone has questions?
Good morning, ma'am.
Good
morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
I'm Kavita.
Hi, Kavita.
I'm Kavita. I wish to know how to make the students so interactive through Google Meet or everything.
Okay, Google Meet. Okay, for me, what I do in the Google Meet, one thing I like about Zoom and Google Meet is there's a whiteboard function. So whiteboard means, right, actually your students can write the answer. So for me, usually my lessons, when I plan, for us, our lessons are 1 hour for each class. So in a day, right, easily I can take up to 7 to 8 classes. And it's like humanities has different subjects. They have history, there's geography, there's social studies. So usually it's when I don't use a lot of slides. I don't, okay. So I will usually start off with a video. And then after that, I will actually use a Padlet that I showed you. So in a Padlet, what I will do is that I will post a question on the video and they have to answer. Now, you know, sometimes students, they will not show the video. So you don't know whether they are there. So what I will do is, just like how Bala made me a co-host in the Zoom, I will actually select students to become co-hosts, you know. So I will tell them, okay, now maybe Kavita, you are the co-host. Can you please very quickly come and share your answer in front of the class? So Kavita will have to read out the answer, right? So that is one way to make it interactive. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Sure.
And another one question: when we are presenting some YouTube dance and music or something, will not be here by those people, those interactions. Only in this thing, Zoom Meet, only the voices are here. Because of what those problem is, ma'am? Whether any other thing is there?
Okay, for me, what I do is usually for YouTube, I try to download into my computer. So there's actually a program called YouTube Downloader. So if you don't want the advertisements, you don't want the extra information, you can actually download and cut the video. Actually, last time cutting the video is a challenge, you know, but now it's actually very easy. With a window media maker, most of your computers, if you have a Microsoft Word, right, there'll be a window media maker. So you just use it to cut it and then you upload it into your, show it into your point slide. So that is
likewise, polling is also not possible, ma'am. Likewise, polling is also not possible, ma'am.
If you want to use polling, you I think other platforms that are easier, like Google Classroom has polling. You can use Google Classroom. That will be an easier platform.
Yeah, but Google Classroom doesn't have any interactive meetings and all. Only we are using Google Meet. But
Oh,
when we are when we are using Google Classroom, we can post the material. We can give some assignment and something other than this. But we couldn't get any interaction between them.
yeah. So
That's
that's
the
why
problem we face.
yeah. So actually for interaction wise, right? That's why I suggest you use Padlet. Padlet and Google Form that I shared with you just now. You can also get them.
Padlet is very useful.
Yeah, the Google Form you can put in drop boxes. So when you put, okay, let me just show you. Okay, if you don't mind. Okay, let me just show you. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm going back to this. Okay, just very quickly. Sorry, I just show you very quickly. Okay, so for example, if you want to know what under this option, there's a multiple choice. But instead of multiple choice, right, you can actually do a drop down. Drop down means you can have option 1, option 2, option 3. So over here, let's say, do you like to eat Indian food? Yes, no, I don't think so. Student can actually poll over here. So the question can come here and the polling questions can come here.
Okay, ma'am.
Then they can submit the answer to you, and during your lesson, right, on the spot, you can open with them.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's their answer? So they cannot run away when you're actually teaching.
Yeah. Nice, ma'am. Nice. Thanks a lot, ma'am. Very informative and interesting session. We wish you have many more wonderful times like this. Thank you.
So much. Thank you so much. Yes. So that's about it from me. I think very nicely it's already 2:30 because Bala told me very strictly I have to end at 1 hour. So is there any more? Okay. If there's no questions, Bala, can I pass on to you, please?
Dear participants, kindly unmute and share your queries, suggestions, and feedback. Participants, you have any queries?
Yeah, feel free to ask. If you're shy to ask me online, you can always email me. My email address in the slides that I sent to Bala. I'll be glad to help you. Or if you face any challenges when you're using Bala, you may want to mute yourself for a minute. Sorry. Yeah, thank you. So there's a lot of information out there. Yeah, and if you are also interested to come into Singapore to teach, we welcome you. We also have a lot to learn from all of you, and definitely it will be an interesting experience for sure. Yeah, so that's about it from me, Bala. I pass on to you, Bala.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed myself. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your excellent knowledge sharing and handle the session very interesting and fruitful. Thank you for your wonderful hands-on session, ma'am.
Thank you.
Now I request your honorable and beloved principal to deliver a presidential address. Principal, ma'am, kindly unmute and share your. I request our honorable and beloved principal to deliver presidential address.
ஒரு 5 minutes மட்டும் வெயிட் பண்ணுங்க மம்மி துணியை காய போட்டு வந்துடுறேன்
Mute the participants.
என்னையே தமிழ் தப்பா நினைச்சது கவலையா இருக்காங்க. என்னாச்சு?
Lata ma'am? Professor Lata ma'am? Can we go to the next? Okay, before that, now it's the time to share closing remarks of the webinar. It's a great honor for me to have this opportunity in closing our webinar on Trends in STEMEM 2.0. First and foremost, I would like to express my appreciation and thank all of our speakers. Dr. S. Amutha, Associate Professor from Savitha Engineering College, Tamil Nadu. Dr. G. Kishore Kumar, Associate Professor, OGMCET, Andhra Pradesh. Dr. Asadi Srinivaslu, Head Research and Professor of IT from Blue Crest University, Liberia. Dr. P. Idayarani, Associate Professor from KLEF, Andhra Pradesh. Mrs. Vani Arun Prakash, Educator, Ministry of Education, Queensway Secondary School, Singapore, for their valuable and generously sharing their time, knowledge, experiences, and insights with us. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all our resource persons who sincerely committed to this event to make it a success. Thank you, and we are very grateful to you all speakers. Lata ma'am?
Balambige ma'am?
Tirumulan sir, can we have principal ma'am now?
Principal ma'am is there. Lada madam is there.
Yeah, can we have them, or I want to move to vote of thanks.
Ma'am, you have to move to the vote of thanks now.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. Now it's the time to propose a vote of thanks. Honorable dignitaries, most valued guests, and dear participants, it's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks on behalf of the Department of BCA and CS. I extend our gratitude to the honorable delegates who blessed us with their presence and took out valuable time. I express my immense pleasure to our respected speaker of all the days for inspiring us by handling the session very interesting and informative. A warm thanks goes to our principal, ma'am, Dr. S.P. Manikyavasiki, ma'am, and IQAC coordinator, Professor R. Lata, ma'am, for their vision and commitment to work with execution. I am very grateful to our vice principals, Professor Ilan Chilian sir and Professor K. Raja sir, for giving us an opportunity to organize this webinar, a massive hit. The essence of great leadership is influence and not authority. With this note, I wholeheartedly thank Professor K. Raja sir, the head of the department. We celebrate your leadership and you keep on influencing us. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Kindly
Sorry, Balamige, can't able to connect in the morning session due to some problem. You just complete it. Afterwards, I will prolong. Okay, proceed on.
Okay, ma'am. I heartily thank our admin.
Okay.
I heartily thank our admin and the placement officer, Dr. D. Tirumulan, the technical supporter cum software developer, Professor S. Parthiban. I'm happy to express thanks to our faculty and our wonderful participants for active participation who made this session a grand success. Behind every successful program lie the manifold attempts of our committed faculty. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the immense contribution of our dedicated faculty. Finally, our special thanks goes to our participants. Ma'am?
Okay, ma. Okay, Balamige, let me proceed on. So sorry, morning I can't able to connect on due to some technical issues. So thank you, Balamige, and happy morning to one and all. Hope that you may all enjoy today's session of International Webinar Trends in STEMEM 2.0, the 5 days program organized by the Department of Information Science. And my heartily wishes to today's guest, Mrs. Vani Arun Prakash, Educator, Humanities and English Language of Ministry of Education, Queensway School, for handling this session on utilization of technology tools in education. The presentation is highly informative, ma'am. So we learned some new updates from your presentation. So thank you, ma'am. for accepting the webinar, and your presentation is highly impressive. So, dear faculty, so teaching through digital technology strikes a new path on education survive. At this juncture, I want to say a few words. So, teachers should be always a master of latest technology, and they have to be updated with new version to show the right way to our students and society. So, hope that you all know very well that technology never replaced great teachers, but technology is in the hands of a great teacher for transformation. So hope all the days went well. And regards to the team of information science and the coordinator, Mrs. Balambige, for a sincere effort for organizing the 5 days program. So thanks to all the participants for your eager participation for the 5 day session. So thank you one and all. Thank you, Mrs. Balambige, for organizing this session, and special regards to the team of information science and to Mr. Thirumulan and Parthiban. So thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for your encouragement and support. The success of every webinar rests on love and support of participants. We are indeed lucky to get your unconditional love and support. We look forward the same in the forthcoming events. Nandri, thank you, Answer Guy. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Vasuki. I think the quote that you said that technology lies in the hands of great teacher is fantastic. I hope most of your lecturers and the students will continue to utilize this in education. Yeah, all the best.
Thank you for everyone.
Yeah, ma'am.
Thank you for the management and the faculty members for arranging such a wonderful session for us. Thank you so much.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Okay, fine, ma'am. Fine to see you in the webinar. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thirumalan, sir,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
kindly wind up the session, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.